General Hospital spoilers reveal that Lulu is stepping into a completely new chapter of her life as the truth about Cyrus's death begins to surface. Her return to Port Charles is not only a journey of rediscovery after being in a coma for a long time, but also a confrontation with the massive changes in the lives of those she loves, especially Dante. As the secrets about Cyrus's death are slowly revealed, Lulu can no longer ignore the effects this event is having on her and those around her. Cyrus's death is not simply the end of an enemy but also brings with it a series of consequences, unanswered questions, and growing obsessions. Lulu feels the chaos, not only through the news and gossip in town but also through emotional conversations with Dante. From fragmented clues, Lulu begins to realize that the truth is far more complicated, and she is being drawn into a battle for which she was never prepared. While Lulu is still trying to adapt to her new life, old emotions begin to resurface, especially as she interacts more with Dante. Though both try to keep their distance, the avoided glances, unfinished words, and meaningful silences between them show that things are far from over. Cyrus's death has not only opened a door to the truth but also another one, leading to feelings Lulu thought she had buried forever. Dante, who has been trapped in the grief of losing Sam, now finds himself drawn back into emotional turmoil with Lulu. Her return has placed him in a difficult position. He doesn't want to hurt anyone, but at the same time, he cannot deny that his heart still beats for Lulu. Sam had helped him cope with the pain when Lulu was in a coma, but now, with Sam gone, and Lulu standing right in front of him, can he really move on without feeling guilty? Lulu also cannot ignore Dante's presence in her life. She can feel his inner conflict, and it makes it harder for her to make decisions. She wants to move forward, but does that mean she's using Dante's pain to win him back? And more importantly, is Dante truly ready to accept her again, or are the pieces of their past too fragmented to form a complete picture? The truth about Cyrus's death is also serving as a catalyst, making the relationship between Lulu and Dante even more strained. As more secrets come to light and those involved in his death begin to emerge, Lulu and Dante are caught in a whirlwind they cannot avoid. Their debates no longer just revolve around emotions, but also about right and wrong, who can be trusted, and who cannot. Port Charles is changing, and Lulu knows she cannot continue living in the past. She has to make a decision. Either she moves forward and finds herself again, or she lets old emotions pull her back into an endless loop. And Dante too. But the biggest question remains, can they overcome what is happening, or will fate once again tear them apart? Can the wounds of the past heal, or will they only push them further apart? One thing is certain, the truth about Cyrus's death is not just a case, but a turning point in Lulu and Dante's lives. What happens next will not only decide the future of Port Charles but also the fate of two people who once loved each other deeply. And once again, Lulu will have to choose, face her feelings or keep running. Dante has finally been freed from the invisible ties that have controlled him since Sam's death. Throughout this time, Dante was trapped in a cycle of grief, self-blame, and guilt for not being able to protect the woman he loved. But now, with Cyrus dead and the truth gradually coming to light, he can breathe a sigh of relief for the first time in months spent in darkness. Cyrus's death is not just the end of a dangerous enemy, but also a pivotal event in Dante's life, a change that could open the door to an entirely new future. Dante had been trapped in memories of Sam, fearing that moving on would be a betrayal. But with everything that has happened, he is beginning to realize that he cannot continue living in the past. His obsession is no longer the sorrow, but the question, where does he go from here? Meanwhile, Cyrus's death has triggered a series of changes no one could have predicted. The schemes and forces once surrounding him are now spiraling out of control, creating a chain reaction that Dante cannot ignore. A new complication is forming, requiring Dante to make pivotal decisions. Will he continue to be a loyal soldier for justice, or will he choose a different path to protect those he loves? And this is where Lulu enters the picture. Her return has placed Dante in a situation he cannot avoid. She is not just a first love but the only woman who ever made him believe in the power of love. But between them lies a long and complicated history, and Dante cannot just move on because Lulu has returned. He knows that if they are to have another chance at love, it must come from sincerity, not just because of their shared past. Lulu is also unsure about their future. She can sense that Dante has changed. He is no longer the man she once loved. He has gone through too much pain, and so has she. But despite all that, there is one thing she cannot deny. There is still a strong connection between them, something time or distance cannot erase. The question is, can Dante let go of his past to allow new love to blossom, or is he too stuck in the painful memories? Lulu may be the one to help him find himself again, but she doesn't want to be a substitute for anyone. Dante and Lulu are both standing at an important crossroads. They can choose to walk together, start over, and build a new future. Or they can accept that the past is something that cannot be touched, and each will have to find their own path. But no matter what, one thing is certain, Cyrus's death has changed everything. Port Charles is about to witness a major shift, not just in the criminal world, but in Dante and Lulu's emotional lives. Can they overcome the barriers of the past to find love again, or will fate tear them apart once more? Rocco is eagerly awaiting the interaction between his parents, Dante and Lulu. The young boy has gone through so many changes in his life, from his mother falling into a coma for years to his father's grief after Sam's death. Now that Lulu has returned and Dante is gradually finding himself again, Rocco senses a new hope. He not only wishes for his parents to reconnect as they once did but also longs for a complete family where he no longer feels the division or sadness of the past. However, a surprising piece of news changes everything. Gio is confirmed to be Dante's biological child. This truth is not only a shock to Dante but also a major turning point for the entire family. When Dante learns he has another child aside from Rocco, his emotions become tangled. He never intended to abandon or deny responsibility for Gio, but how does he balance being a father to both children in such a complex situation? Meanwhile, Rocco's reaction is what surprises everyone. The boy does not show any signs of discomfort or jealousy at Joe's arrival. On the contrary, he is happy to learn he has a brother. For Rocco, this means his family is growing, and he no longer feels alone in the midst of his parents' tension. He hopes Joe's presence will bring his parents closer, helping them find a reason to work together and build a stronger relationship. Lulu also faces this situation with many mixed emotions. She never thought that, upon waking up, Dante's life would have changed so much. She knows Dante is a responsible man, and Joe's arrival is not only shaking up his life but also something Lulu must learn to adapt to. But the most important thing to her now is Rocco. She wants her son to be happy, and if accepting Gio as part of the family brings Rocco joy, she's willing to do so. Despite being confused by everything happening, Dante understands that this is a time when he must make important decisions. He has to ensure that both Rocco and Gio feel loved and that no one is left behind. Becoming a father to two children is not only a responsibility but also an opportunity for him to rebuild his life after so many upheavals. Port Charles is witnessing a major change in the Falconeri family. Joe's confirmation as Dante's child has completely altered the situation, but the most notable thing is how this family is facing it. There is no blame or anger, rather, a sense of unity and a desire to build a better future. The question now is, can Joe's presence truly bring Dante and Lulu closer together? Can they raise their two children in a loving environment without letting the past interfere? And most importantly, can Rocco and Gio form a strong sibling bond, where both feel they belong to a real family? Port Charles will continue to follow this story as Dante and Lulu face critical decisions about their family's future. One thing is certain, Rocco has finally gotten what he always wanted, a bigger family, and the chance to see his parents interact with each other in the way he had always hoped. With Joe's arrival, the future of the Falconeri family is standing at a significant and exciting turning point. Lulu is ignoring all objections from Brooke Lynn and the Quartermain family, determined to do things her own way without hesitation. Her return is not only a personal event but also a shock to the influential forces in Port Charles. For a long time, the Quartermain family has built a solid legacy, controlling many aspects of the city, and Brooke Lynn has always been the protector of their values. But for Lulu, the days of living under the control and influence of others are over. Now, she is in charge of her own fate. Brooke Lynn's opposition comes not only from personal conflicts between the two women but also from the interests of the Quartermaine family. Brooke Lynn has long held a special place in the family, acting as a bridge between the new generation and the old traditions. She understands how the family operates, which has made her one of the most powerful figures in the Quartermaine line. When Lulu returns with strong resolve, challenging what the Quartermaines have established, Brooke Lynn cannot stand idly by. She sees Lulu as a threat, an unstable factor that could shake the balance she has worked hard to maintain. But Lulu doesn't care about traditional values or the rules the Quartermaine family has set. She has spent too much time being controlled by others, from the years in a coma, to Dante moving on without her, to witnessing others make decisions for her. Now, she has the opportunity to take back control of her life, and she will not let anyone stand in her way, whether it's Brooke Lynn or anyone else in the Quartermaine family. The tension between Lulu and Brooke Lynn is not just a personal dispute but a real power struggle. The Quartermaine family has long had deep influence in Port Charles, and they are not easy to challenge. If Lulu continues down this path, she will not only face off with Brooke Lynn but also have to fight against a system of power built over generations. However, what's even more notable is that Lulu is not the only one drawn into this fight. Those around her are also starting to feel the increasing tension. Dante, who once had deep relationships with both women, is in a difficult position. He can't stay out of it when two important people in his life are clashing, but he also doesn't want to choose a side and hurt the other. Carly, who always has a realistic view of the power struggles in Port Charles, realizes that Lulu is putting herself in a dangerous position. She knows that confronting the Quartermaine family is not something anyone can do without consequences. But Lulu doesn't care about the warnings or concerns from those around her. She has decided that now is the time to take control of her life, and she is ready to face anyone who dares to stop her. The question now is not just whether Lulu can win her confrontation with Brooke Lynn and the Quartermaine family, but whether she can maintain control for long. The Quartermaine family is not easily defeated, and Brooke Lynn will certainly not give up this fight easily. If Lulu isn't careful, she may end up putting herself in a situation that she can't control. Her decisions, if not carefully thought out, could lead her to lose important relationships and even the freedom she is fighting to gain. This battle has only just begun, and Port Charles is watching every step both women take. Will Lulu truly have the strength to hold her ground, or will she soon realize that some battles can't be won alone? One thing is for certain, Lulu is no longer the woman everyone once knew, and what she does next may completely change the landscape of Port Charles. She is entering a battle not just for herself but for her freedom, control, and honor. But if she's not careful, she could lose more than she ever imagined.